changing. We're now in the various symbols. Okay, C standing for your symbols. This is your Latin percussion, so I'm just going to put this on pause. Okay, so back to this again. Now there's a little difference between this, which is supposed to be the digit reading display for mute, okay, and off. Really, you need to have off. That way, you don't have any of that rim sound sounding off. You can still have your snare sound there, but you've got that off over there. Now, this is where you hit your layer button, and you'll see that the A bank is still flashing, but not the B bank. There should be, I'm presuming this might be on the SPD11s, there should be a bank B. Now in this case we've got a reversed sound. Okay, this small r is this list of these reversed sounds. If I have a look at my Octapad, and from what I can remember, the rim click sound is in the bank of your snare sounds. So let me just hit this off again. Okay, so I'm still scrolling through these various sounds. I'm just in that list of hi-hats. It won't be too long before I've got my toms. Listing the toms. Okay, here we go, snare drums. So we're going to assign this sound, S80, in this SPD20s list, represents your rim click. And we just hear there's a little bit of a rim click sort of sound that's over here. But while we've still got the snare, that rim click doesn't have much presence. So what we have to do is, let's look at a few of these things, such as your level and so forth. Let's have a look at the level here. Level's 15. Pitch, we're going to have to take that pitch right down. With mine, my other one over here, it's around -2. Okay, so it's got a little bit of a knock to it. What have we got with decay? I'm going to knock a little bit of decay off. Get it right down to 0. Okay, now we're starting to get a bit of a decent sound here. I might change that pan a little bit. Got it to both the stereo. Now here's the important thing, it's your curve. Now this has got a linear curve. Linear curve means you got that kind of thing. But I like using the HD curve because the HD curve doesn't interrupt too much of the initial snare sound. So your main snare sound's here. Okay, so that's not working there. What I might have to do is to then go to, okay, that's 2. Let's flip over to bank A. We go back to bank A, and we're going to change that linear sound, which this is bank A. It's to do with this. I'm just sort of showing how I have some like little workarounds that seem to do the trick. EP4. Right, so that's not working there. I'm sort of showing you how I'm sort of just troubleshooting stuff. Let's go back to bank A. HD2. Ah, right. Okay. So, if I go to the first bank, it's really an SB2 curve. There we go. And if I were to hit there in the middle of the pad, I'd have to change now HD2. Alright, so if I say switch the layer for the A bank off, you hear there's nothing coming out from that snare pad, but there's your rim click right there. I've had to put HD2 because if I went to the first layer, layer A, or bank A, that's essentially the same type of curve. But the rim is an SB2. I find that this is the best combination when it comes to the whole thing with your rims. So it means that if I hit this loud, this won't trigger off the sound that you have for your rim, which was SB S80. Alright, so I know this is a little bit of a lengthy explanation, but this is how I set certain things. The snare drum is going to be the most complex thing, right? Okay, because you've got that factor of the rim click and that snare pad. If, on the other hand, you're just using just the snare pad as for the snare sound itself, then you don't have to worry too much about that. That'd be if you're using a single trigger pad. Now, as I said, another thing is I've got to get into the whole thing of assigning sounds. So let's go back to bank A, and we hear that was like some sort of reggae sort of snare sound. I think it was. Okay, so we got that. That's cool. Let's muck around with some of the levels. I might do this over here. Go to pitch. Pitch. Okay, pitch is all right there. Okay, let's go to decay. What have we got with decay? 30. Alright, so I'm going to get a little bit more decay over here. Pan. Usually set it in the center. Curve. It's an EP3. EP3 gives a little bit more presence that. And effects. Okay, so I'm not running any effects on this sort of patch, but should I, okay, then this effects value is also a little important. Alright, now the next thing we need to get to, excuse me, is we need to get to our trigger sensitivity. Okay, you can see that when you hit this, see how there's this number 1 that's flashing over here? I don't know if you can see it or not. Okay, there's a 1 that's flashing there. And there, for a brief moment, there'll be a small little line that will flash over this side. This just indicates the sensitivity. If I can find that on my Octapad, I'll get it to be a, yep, that's what I thought, 1. That'll be the best sensitivity for that. Then the next thing that we need is we need a trigger threshold. So I've set the trigger thresholds to 3s, they're fine, that's what copies that, and we don't have to worry about the curves and all that sort of thing. Okay, right, so let's go back to our instruments. Now I'm just going to sort of set up and duplicate this as much as possible, be a mirror image of what I've got with my other sort of Octapad over here.